Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Show Me Baseball. This is a season recap we're going to do about the MLB season that just happened. It just ended last week. We've got a lot of great topics. We're going to talk some really fun stuff. You're not going to want to miss it. Don't go anywhere.
Looking to have a fun time on campus or a family-friendly place to have fun? Check out the Union Bowling Center. We have the lowest prices in town, only $5 per game and $22 per hour for community members, and $4 per game or $17 per hour for UCM students and employees. That cost includes shoes and tax. There's also convenient and free parking on the corner of Clark and Holden for any member of the public to use. Let the good times roll at the Union Bowling Center. Open from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. on weekdays, and from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. on weekends.
All right, welcome back to Show Me Baseball. You guys ready to jump in?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I've got a great crew here with me today. I got Sam. Sam, you got anything to say?
Yeah, I've been nice for the booth.
Yeah, all right, sounds good. Brayden?
Happy to be here.
Happy to be here. Mr. Show Me himself. All right, and Asher.
Ready to talk some ball?
Yeah, show the camera. You got all 10 fingers?
All 10 of them.
Okay, Asher's been doing some pyro work with the Chiefs, so I just want to make sure he's got all 10 fingers before we move on. Okay, this is episode 1. We're going to discuss some things. We got some topics we're going to go over, and a little twist is I'm going to see how AI agrees or disagrees with what our group has to say about our different topics. So, first topic, most exciting game you remember for the season. Brayden, we're going to start with you. What you got?
Okay, so as a Royals fan and the Show Me Baseball podcast that we got going on here, I picked the Royals and the Orioles game back on May 4th earlier this season. The Royals do not have hardly any power on their team, didn't show any of it in the first month and a half, and then decided to break the franchise record for most home runs in a game and hit 7 solo home runs.
Solo home runs, that's the key.
Yeah, all 7 of them were solo
Wild.
shots. So for them to come out of the gate and do that against the Orioles, and the Orioles hit a bunch of home runs too. They closed in on the record for most home runs in a game. I think they tied the record for most solo home runs in a game because the Orioles had, I believe, 2 of their own, but the Royals had 7, which was a combined 9 solo homers. And it's not like it was on a hot day in Baltimore where the ball's flying
out of the park.
It was pretty cold. Everybody was bundled up, and
Wow.
Everybody just decided they wanted to hit home runs.
I'm going to give a little spoiler alert. AI did not pick that one. So just so everyone knows before we get there. But
it was a bizarre game.
So is that pitching? Is that what's caused? I remember. And how do you not get people on base? How are you hitting the ball so hard that you have 7 solo home runs, but nobody
the Royals had
on the base
17
pads?
hits, and whenever they did have people on base, they just hit it hard, not in the air.
So what was the score of that game?
It was 11-6 Royals.
Okay, so 7 of them were solos.
Yeah.
And then were there any other home runs in the game? So
Not
they're
by
just
the
base
Royals.
hits or
Yep,
whatever.
just base
Wow.
hits. But the lead changed. It went back and forth. Royals started off 1-0. Then the Orioles took a 2-1 lead. Then the Royals took a 3-2 lead. And then it was tied 3-3. Then the Royals took a 4-3 lead. And then Baltimore took a 5-4 lead. And then the Royals kind of ran away with it from there. But it was back and forth, just solo shots every half inning.
Okay, so I'm going to give a little bit of a curveball here. So at the beginning of the show, I talked about Asher working with the Chiefs on the Pyro team. He's got all 10 fingers, thankfully. What I didn't mention was Brayden and Asher both actually work with the Royals organization as well. Yep. Obviously, that game's on the road.
Yeah.
What does it mean if it's at home? What are you on the edge of your seat? Explain to me what goes through your mind if you're working a game that has all that offense. Because baseball's not always known for offense, right?
The Royals especially very pitching oriented.
First, explain your role with the Royals.
So right now for the Royals, I'm an usher, so I get to stand in section.
You have a pretty sweet yellow vest.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's very bright. You can spot me from a mile away. You can see me across the entire stadium. Like whenever I see pictures that people take at Kauffman, I always look and see if I can find myself, and 99% of the time I can. No, the most exciting game that I've seen at home that has a lot of offense, I we had a lot of that back in 2024. There was a specific game against the Mariners, which I think every.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I think anybody who's worked at Kauffman Stadium or was there for that game will say that was one of the greatest atmospheres that they've ever been a part of. Royals were down 7-0 after the first inning. Came back. Got it. It was 8-4 after a 3-run homer by MJ Melendez. Got a few runs in the 8th, and then came back, walked it off in the 9th inning. Bobby Witt Jr. hit a triple to tie it. Then they walked the bases loaded, and then Nelson Velasquez hits a bullet to the shortstop. I had never seen Kauffman get that loud, and especially after working there in 2023 when they were not a good baseball team.
Yeah.
To see them come around and do that was. That was the moment that everybody knew that they had showed up, and that was basically the deciding game last year because the Royals only beat the Mariners by 1 game, and if the Mariners had held on to that game, Royals aren't in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. You mentioned walk-off. I don't think there's any more exciting type of play than a walk-off in baseball. Nothing pleases me more than seeing the fans disperse before the end of the game, and then to have something exciting like that happen, it's just amazing. So, sounds like that was a great game. Obviously, a lot of solo homers. Asher, where do you stand on the most exciting game you remember of the season?
Most exciting game I remember of the season is I'm going to give it to 2 terrible teams because they don't have anything else to look forward to besides this game. So I'm going to give it to Rockies and Pirates on August 1st.
A lot of offense in that game, too.
Final score was 17-16 Rockies. But it looked like it was just going to be another typical Rockies game. Pirates, after the first inning, got out to a 9-1 lead. And then Rockies just slowly chipped away. And then in the 9th inning, they hit 2 home runs, I believe, and scored 5 runs.
Okay, is that a testament to poor Pirates pitching or good Rockies hitting?
I mean, it's got to be a little bit of both because even as bad as the Rockies are, they're still MLB hitters, so they can still hit the ball well. But, I mean, you got to be pitching really bad to allow 17 runs. Yeah, that's true, too.
Thin air, ball flies a little bit better. Yeah, okay.
In the middle of summer and a bunch of relievers that have their arms fallen off by that point.
Right, yeah. 2 great examples. My boy Sam, I think Sam is going to agree with me, who also agrees with AI, that anybody want to take a guess what AI and what my boy Sam and I think is the number 1 game, most memorable game?
Probably the last game of the year.
It was.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah, he got out home play. He was safe at home.
Yeah, so there was a controversial play at home. We're in the broadcast business. This is obviously part of the sports production class. I can't imagine being in a position where I have to have camera angles and equipment working to be able to change, because that changes so much.
Could you imagine if they had called him safe on the field?
Yeah. I don't see how you overturn it.
No.
Yeah. So AI does say that Game 7 of the World Series, which was by far the best game of the season, I don't care what anybody says. I actually just read a stat earlier that had more viewers than the Super Bowl.
That doesn't shock me.
Really?
That's wild.
Wow.
Win extra innings, a lot of close plays, a walk-off-ish type, can you have a walk-off for you if you're the away team?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. There you go. We'll go with that. Just some amazing stuff that happened in that game. You got a pitcher, and I'm not even going to try to say his name. Anybody want to?
Which one?
Yamamoto.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably one of the best.
Pitched 96 pitches a day before, and then comes in and pitches what?
It's Randy Johnson in 2001 all over again.
You just don't hear about things like that anymore. So AI, my boy Sam, myself, we all agree Game 7, World Series, even though I don't like the Dodgers, they came in and beat the Blue Jays. I wanted Vlad to get one, and I wanted Don Mattingly. I hate the Yankees, but I don't know, something about Don Mattingly.
He just stepped down as
I
their
did
head
see that
coach.
because they wouldn't renew his contract, I think, or something. So that's what AI had to say. That's what I say. That's what Sam says. I think if we took a vote, you all would get outvoted.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
So, but I think you all enjoyed that game as well.
Yeah, it was
You
great.
know,
I mean,
it's just
I
a good
mean,
game. Yeah, you don't even have to be a baseball fan to enjoy that type of game.
No. Yeah, I mean, it definitely probably was objectively the best game of the year, but
He literally just said it was definitely probably.
it was definitely the best game of the
Okay,
season.
all right, yeah.
But I wanted to show some love to some of the regular season.
No,
games
I
that
get it.
get
I get it.
overlooked.
Yeah, this was the easy pick. I mean, obviously AI picked it as well, but it's kind of scary that AI would probably have the ability to pick any game. It just. I don't know. AI scares me sometimes, but yeah, I don't disagree with what it's saying here. Definitely a great game. But yeah, so that was segment 1. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to jump right into our next topic. You're not going to want to miss it.
Gear up for game day at the UCM store, your one-stop shop for all things mules and jennies. From the latest styles by Nike, Champion, Antigua, and Columbia Sportswear, to your fan favorites and exclusive UCM gear, we've got everything you need to show your school spirit in style. And right now, enjoy unbeatable savings during Mascot Madness. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Whether you're heading to the stadium or repping from home, game day starts at the UCM store.
Welcome back to Show Me Baseball. We just got done talking about the most memorable game we saw over this past season. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into kind of the nuts and bolts of what makes a great season, and that's your MVP, specifically your American League MVP. The question is, who deserves the AL MVP? Is it Judge from the Yankees or I always say this?
Cal Raleigh.
Raleigh. Yeah. I always want to say Raleigh. I don't know, but Raleigh from the Mariners. I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't think there is a wrong choice. I think they both played well. There's probably a better choice than the other one, but I don't think you can go wrong with either one. Again, Brayden, we're going to start with you. Tell me what you got.
Okay, so Aaron Judge this season is on a historic level, historic pace, and is doing things that really haven't been done since Barry Bonds. His stats are so incredibly good, but he doesn't play phenomenal defense. It's not bad defense, but he's nothing spectacular. And Cal Raleigh necessarily isn't either, but he plays a more valuable position at catcher. And he's a catcher who just hit over 60 home runs. And I don't care what you say, that deserves to get MVP. Cal Raleigh, according to Fangraphs, and that's probably the best source for catcher WAR because it calculates it differently than Baseball Reference, had 9.1 WAR, and Judge had 10.1 Fangraph WAR. And the margin for error for WAR, according to Fangraphs and Baseball Reference, is exactly 1. So Raleigh's right on the cusp of that margin for error in regards to how valuable he really was for the Mariners team. But I think you also have to take into consider how much work he has to do with the pitching staff, keeping them, staying on the same page with them, and making sure that they're going through and having the right game plan on the same page throughout the entire game with every single pitcher on the entire team. And he's catching the majority of the games for him. Yeah. So he's doing all of that, and that's not really measurable while he's also hitting 60 home runs. So I think that aspect of it, I think Raleigh should be the MVP. Also just because Judges, there is a level of fatigue to the MVP award where Judge has already won it twice now. And this would be his third. And yeah, sure, he deserves it. But Raleigh also really deserves it too. And I think if you switch the seasons of Cal Raleigh had the season that he had last year and Bobby Witt Jr. had the season that he had last year this year, I think we're probably in a similar situation because Judge would have won last year just because he hadn't won it in a little bit. And it would have only been a second, whereas this one's his third. And there's other players that feel more deserving to have that MVP award on in their trophy case.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to switch topics here at all, but you kind of talk about fatigue and having the same MVP. I kind of look over at the NFL side and say Saquon Barkley should have won the MVP last year.
There's definitely
but they're going to give it to a quarterback, and so that's kind of what I see here is, yes, it's hard to argue that Aaron Judge doesn't, but
it's like just give it to somebody else so that there's something new, so that there's something about the award that actually matters again, because quarterbacks have won the NFL award, or have won the NFL MVP every single year dating back to Adrian Peterson when I think I was 4.
Probably. Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so before we get Asher's opinion on this, just want to give some stats. Judge won the AL batting title, hitting .331. He led the league in on-base percentage, slugging, and OPS, which is pretty rare. A guy that's catching, hitting 60 home runs for Cal Riley is just unheard of. If you've ever tried to squat for an extended period of time, it wears on your body. And home runs is all about your lower body.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anybody says. It's about that strength. Obviously, catchers are going to have strong lower bodies, but over the course of 9 innings, they're going to get exhausted. So anyway, I don't want to sway your vote, Asher, but what you got?
I mean, I'm still with Raleigh just because I'm kind of a Yankee hater. I'll be the first to admit it. But I feel like Judge does have statistically a better season, but you also, again, have to take into account, he not only broke Salvi's home run record for a catcher, he smashed it.
Yeah,
It was passed by with over a month to go in the season, I think. And so I feel like just 60 bombs, and he also beat Judge in RBIs too, and just how important catchers are defensively to a team. I've seen catchers that hit under 200, but if they're a solid defensive catcher, then they are always going to have a starting spot.
Jeff Mathis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it to Raleigh.
So, Sam, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay? You with me here?
Yeah.
To be an MVP, don't you need to take your team, throw them on your back, and carry them?
Yes.
Yes, Judge had some amazing numbers, but he had a pretty good supporting cast. Mariners, I mean, I don't think they ended up where they did without Cal.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. AI is kind of being wishy-washy on this. Obviously, they're kind of playing the fence, saying that anybody could. What the voter defines as most valuable player. Well, it's the most valuable player. You can't get any more precise than that. It says if the award is for best overall player, it's Judge. If the award gives significant extra weight to a historic milestone at a premium defensive position, it's Raleigh.
So it's saying if voters really put that much weight into him doing what he did, then he'll get it, which is true.
I didn't take the time to look up the stats, but catchers normally after a Saturday night game don't play.
No.
Was he DH?
He usually DH.
DH. So he still had the at bats. So that's it's still an amazing feat, no matter how you look at it. But so I think we're all in consensus. Cal.
Yes.
Cal.
Yep.
Cal. AI. You need to be a little bit more specific.
I also would have given it to Bobby though last year.
Oh, okay. Homer edition.
Yes, but also the same.
No, he earned it. Yeah, I agree.
Royals
if you take Bobby off of last year's Royals team,
maybe 70 wins.
Maybe.
Yeah, you take him out.
Maybe.
Do they make the playoffs?
No.
Did they make the playoffs?
Yes. You take Judge off the Yankees,
they still
maybe
had
not
Juan
one
Soto.
seed, but you're probably making the playoffs.
Exactly. Yeah. To me, that's what makes most valuable player.
Yeah.
You carry your team to a position they wouldn't be if you weren't there.
Yeah.
And that's So, anyway, I think we're all pretty close on that. Okay. We're going to move on to the next one. We kind of talked about it a little bit. Sam and I kind of jumped the gun at the beginning, talking about the World Series. What are your thoughts on the World Series of the playoffs as a whole? Brayden, what you got?
I mean, the fact that we had 2 Game 7s at all makes it a really good playoffs, and the fact that both of the Game 7s were really good, that makes it even better. I think that the divisional rivalry matchups between the Blue Jays and the Yankees, that was a really good series where the Blue Jays just came alive. But, I mean, there's even that one game where Judge got his hands inside and was able to hit a ball that I don't think many baseball hitters are going to be able to get to and just hit it so far down that left field line. So that series was really good. The moment for Orion Kirkring not throwing it to first against the Dodgers with that Phillies series, that being the end of their season.
What a crazy play.
Just brutal.
I mean, you got to know what to do in that situation. I used to coach both my kids. My daughter played softball. My son played baseball. I coached them both. And that's
panic.
101.
Yeah.
Like, know what you're going to do with the ball if it comes to you.
Yeah.
Don't think about it after it's there. You got to think about it before. And it's just, and he just panicked.
So much time to
Do you
get
think
to
he
first,
forgot
too.
there was 2 outs? Like, what do you think?
He just complete panic.
He's just like, oh, it's a force at home. I'll just I don't. And to see, the image of the catcher just pointing to first, and he throws that. I mean, it's crazy. So, Asher, what do you think?
I mean, I kind of feel bad for Brewers fans. I feel like they were finally,
They were on the
felt
cusp.
like they were getting
At least
there.
they got a win. At least they got a series win for
They
the
did.
first time in.
They did.
forever.
They got a series win. They got out of the NLDS, but then you just don't even get a game in the NLCS. I just felt kind of bad for them. But overall, I felt like it was an amazing playoffs. I don't think the Blue Jays get enough credit for losing in 18 innings in Game 3 and then still taking the next 2 while in LA.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the biggest bounce backs, and I think if they were to have won either Game 6 or 7, like if either of those wouldn't have ended in double plays, I think Games 4 particularly, bouncing back after an 18-inning loss, I think that would have been the biggest story there.
So I mentioned earlier how Game 7 of the World Series had a larger viewing audience than the Super Bowl. I also read something where Cam Newton, former NFL player, had stated that baseball was dying and that ratings for the WNBA would overcome baseball.
In 20 years. Yep.
Yeah.
I think baseball has done some things I'm not a fan of, but they did it for the right reasons. Enlarging the bases, pitch clock. They wanted to bring some of that fan base back. I think they've accomplished that.
We're getting automatic balls and strikes or the challenge system.
I hate taking the human element out of it.
But you're not taking the human element out of it. It's a challenge system.
Yeah.
So it's another human element to the game because players have to determine whether, when, or not.
How confident are they that was a ball, not a strike?
Managers deciding who gets the ability to challenge it because they can't look to the dugout and ask the managers.
Right. Yeah.
My fear about the whole ABS system is, say next year same thing happens. You get the same situation, bottom of the ninth, Dodgers have just tied it, and you get the bases loaded, full count. And then it's a strike, very close, and then you just tap the head, and then game ends on an ABS challenge. I feel like that'd just be a terrible way to end
similar.
Game
7. That was also the concern with the pitch clock.
Exactly.
But it's such a bizarre scenario that it's going to take a miracle for it to happen.
Especially in Game 7, because that's, I watched some of the other games, but I wasn't invested in them like I was Game 7. I don't even remember seeing the clock.
No.
It never, obviously you
feel
do
it.
a whole season, players are used to it, and I'm sure there's a little bit more leeway being that it's Game 7 of the World Series, but I don't even remember seeing a close call or seeing the clock on screen or anything.
Yeah.
It's just part of the game now.
I feel like a game ended like that one time whenever they were first doing it in spring training, and then since then it's been just completely fine.
You don't get that many pitch clock violations, and if you do, it's because of some weird miscommunication between the batter and the umpire or the pitcher and the umpire, and then we get a manager thrown out because of it, because it is just become so ingrained in the players and in everybody that you don't see that many pitch clock violations anymore.
Do you see a possibility, and Sam, you can kind of talk on this a little bit, do you see a possibility where an appeal to the first base umpire or third base, depending on left or right-hand batter, whether there was intent to swing, whether they went around? Do you see that being challengeable at some point?
Yes.
Yeah? That kind of scares me. Sometimes you watch it in slow-mo and you're like, how in the world did they see that in full speed and know? And 95% of the time I agree with them. It's crazy.
No, I think the check swing, that's probably the next thing to come is
I agree.
that instead of going to first or third base umpire, that they'll just straight up have a review system for it. And that there is a situation where that ended a team season in the 2021 Giants because their season ended on a check swing. Max Scherzer threw the ball. It was down and away, and I think it was no, it wasn't Elliot Ramos. I forget who it was. But check swing, and everybody said that it wasn't like that he didn't go, but the umpire called it, and Dodgers moved on to the NLCS.
Wow. I love this topic. I feel like we could probably fill a whole show talking about it. We've probably steered off of our actual topic probably a little bit more than we should have, but we're going to take a little bit break. Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more coming up. You're not going to want to miss the rest. AI has some interesting takes on some of these other topics. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to Show Me Baseball. We're having a blast talking about the past season of the MLB. We've had some really good discussion on different topics. We're going to jump right into our third topic. Who surprised and who disappointed you this year? It can be one player and one team. You know, we'll keep it loose, whatever you think. Brayden, start us off.
This is a team that I have been surprised by for the last few years, even though I really shouldn't be. I just continue to doubt them and not give them that much credit, and that's the Milwaukee Brewers. I saw their pitching staff going into this year, and then I thought I was vindicated based off the first 3 games where they got shelled by the Yankees. And I didn't think that they had the pitching to get through the season, whether or not their bats were there, and I didn't think that they had that many big bats that were able to keep them afloat. But Pat Murphy and the Brewers have just done the exact same thing the last 2 years where they get really hot in June, July, and August, and they're such a good, well-oiled regular season team that they continue to be one of the best teams in the NL. And it surprises me every year because you look at their roster and it's like, how is this team consistently winning?
Yeah.
No, there's no standouts. And that's why they lose in the playoffs early on almost every time. And they can't really match up with the Dodgers because, like, yeah, Christian Yelich used to be a star. He's still a really good player.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be the kind of guy like Vladimir Guerrero to give the Dodgers a legitimate scare and run for their money.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
But for a disappointing team and player, the Arizona Diamondbacks, you looked at their roster going into this year, and I thought that they had a legitimate chance to contend with the Dodgers in the regular season.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
You got Josh.
That's a hot take.
You got Josh Naylor at first. You got Ketel Marte at second, one of the best second basemen, if not the best second baseman in baseball. You have Jordan Lawler possibly at shortstop, and he didn't show up hardly at all this year. You have Eugenio Suarez, who was on pace for 60 home runs whenever he was in Arizona still. You have Corbin Carroll in the outfield, one of the best young outfielders in the game. Like, this lineup is just all over the place, star-studded. Pavin Smith, Randall Grichuk wasn't a terrible platoon. Both of them had over 800 OPSs versus the pitchers that they would have been facing if they were actually able to platoon them. But they just got riddled with injuries. And I just kind of chose to ignore the pitching because Zach Gallen regressed heavily and wasn't the Cy Young contender form that he was in years past. Merrill Kelly was pretty solid, but he's not somebody you want as a number 2. And the main guy that I wanted to talk about was Brandon Pfaadt because I thought that he was due to really break out this year and thought that he was really good. But he just didn't. He just didn't show up. So
Okay.
I don't know what happened to him, but he just completely fell off a cliff and had an ERA over 5 and didn't take that next step that I thought he would. But a lot of other players that I thought would take their next step did, like Chris Bubich, Christopher Sanchez, Maikel Garcia for the Royals. I thought a lot of them were going to perform pretty well this year, and they did.
They did. Asher, what you got?
My biggest surprise is probably the Seattle Mariners. I've been hearing for years how good their starting pitching is and how they should be a World Series contender every year.
But they're never playing in October.
Yes, because their offense has been terrible. But then whenever they have a catcher show up and hit 60 bombs, I mean, that'll help. Julio Rodriguez played very well this year, I feel like. And then they added Eugenio Suarez at the deadline. I feel like that was a big add for them. So I like what the Mariners did this year. What I didn't like was what the Orioles did this year.
I predicted this because
Oh.
I took the under on their win total at 87.
That's
I
a
was
good
very,
call.
very
because-
confident because their pitching was terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, they really should have beat the Royals last year, and then they got swept in their own house. So but I felt like they should have and probably could have bounced back, and then they just got off to such a bad start that it was impossible to dig themselves out of, and then they just became sellers at the deadline. And then my disappointing player was Jonathan India. I was really looking forward to him
Wow. Okay.
coming to the Royals, and I
That
just
seems
feel
personal.
like- no, it's not personal. It's just he was just never the leadoff hitter that I was hoping for, and so
I think that he got put in a lot of situations that you don't want to put a guy on a brand new team, and you asked him to learn third base and hit leadoff, then you asked him to play left field and hit leadoff, and then you moved him back to second base. And
It's hard to get consistent if you're constantly moving around.
and I felt like that's all we were doing with the Royals at the start of the year is we couldn't have a set lineup.
We were fishing. We were trying to
always
find
moving
something
things
that would
around.
work, and it's hard to put people in spots that they're not used to and expect them to do anything.
especially in a new city.
Yeah,
You want to hear AI's takes?
Sure.
So they did two of each. So two teams and two. Well, actually, they did three players for biggest surprises, two teams, and then they did two teams and two players
try
for
and
disappointments. Sure.
Say
Let's
Chris-
go. You want to go player?
I'll
Biggest
go-
surprise player?
Michael Garcia.
No.
No.
I mean, we've already talked about this person.
Okay, Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
That's not really a surprise because he's been a star.
What he did was a surprise.
But what he did
that's
was
fair.
surprising.
Yeah. You want to go some more players that they found biggest surprises?
Maybe Chris Bubich or Christopher
Nope.
Sanchez.
Nope.
No.
I'll give you the team.
Okay.
One of them's with the Phillies,
Phillies.
and they actually said MVP caliber year.
Kyle Schwarber.
Kyle Schwarber.
That's not a surprise. It's a very in character season.
Yeah,
for
see,
him.
this is where AI fails.
Yeah,
because
like,
they just look at the numbers and they don't take into effect that they're consistent numbers
Yeah.
of what they've
Yeah.
been doing. The other one is the first baseman for the Athletics.
Oh, Nick Kurtz.
okay.
Nick
that's
Kurtz,
fair.
rookie.
Yeah.
Great season,
that's a
great
fair.
rookie season. 4 home runs in one game.
Yeah.
That's.
I think that they
unbelievable.
don't have doesn't really have a great definition of surprise. Then
I agree with that. So let's go into teams that they were surprised with.
Braves.
Nope.
Is a
Braves?
disappointment.
Are they disappointing? Are the Braves disappointing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert there. One of these teams that was in the World Series.
Yeah. Blue Jays.
Blue Jays, biggest surprise. Another team we just talked about, Sam. You want to take a guess?
That would.
Drinking beer. What do you?
Milwaukee Brewers.
There it is. Sam's got it. Those were their surprises. No, I mean I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you, Brayden. I mean, good teams, good players, absolutely. Surprise? No, I don't. Okay, let's go into disappointments. We already did the spoiler. Atlanta Braves were the number one disappointment. You touched on this team as what was that under the topic of? It was actually your disappointing team.
Oh, Orioles.
Orioles, yes. They entered the season with a sky-high expectations as a young contender, and instead they struggled out of the gate, primarily due to major pitching injuries and the disappointing season of Adley Rutschman.
Rutschman. Yeah.
Rutschman.
If you looked at that pitching staff going into the year, if Zach Eflin's your ace and you just lost Corbin Burns, the psychological effect that's going to have on an entire pitching department, losing a guy like Corbin Burns. And that's also why the Diamondbacks were disappointing, because Burns went there, wasn't that great, and then he had Tommy John.
Yeah. What about players, disappointing players? One of them plays on one of the disappointing teams.
Rutschman.
No. It's a
Kuhn.
starting pitcher.
Strider.
Yep. Spencer Strider with the Braves. After being one of baseball's most electrifying and dominant aces, he struggled significantly after returning from injury.
Yeah, he came back from Tommy John.
You come back from injury, is that disappointing if you don't do well?
Yes.
Especially when
Yeah.
their entire
Sam
pitching
says yes.
rotation got hurt. It felt
Okay,
like
who's the center fielder for the White Sox?
Luis Robert.
Yeah. Another highly talented player who had an injury-plagged and disappointing
He always
year.
has injury-plagued seasons.
Yeah.
He's only had one legitimately good year.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, we're going to move on to our last topic. What fans should be excited/hopeful going into the offseason? Teams you think will take a step next year, or maybe even a player? Brayden, hit me with it.
I think that the Chicago White Sox, you just touched on them. I think that if Luis Robert stays healthy, but even if he doesn't stay healthy, they're building something, because they had a historically bad season 2 years ago, and then they got a few pieces in that Garrett Crochet trade that are really starting to pan out. Kyle Teal looks pretty good behind the dish. Colson Montgomery looks pretty good over there at third and shortstop. Chase Medroth was a pretty good second baseman for them as well. Like, they got some pretty solid young guys, and their pitching staff wasn't too bad. Shane Smith was a really good pick in the Rule 5 draft. They have a few arms coming up through their farm system with Hagen Smith. And I think that when you pair them with the old Royals assistant pitching coach, who they just hired as their main pitching coach, Zach Bove, that can be really scary, because what the Royals did in their pitching turnaround from 2023 to 2024, being one of the worst, if not the worst, pitching rotation in 2023, to being a top 5 rotation in 2024, and then 2025 with a bunch of injuries, still consistently being a top pitching rotation. So you take the Royals assistant and you put him in Chicago with some arms that have a little hype to them, have a little bit of potential in them. I think that they're going to be able to get a lot out of those arms, and I like what they're building on the offensive side. They've got some pretty decent pieces. I don't think that they're going to be necessarily contending for a playoff spot, but whatever their over-under is on win totals, I would probably take the over.
Okay. Asher, what you got?
Even though it's a temporary fit for them, I think Sacramento is going to have a playoff team next year. I really like what the A's have done with their team. I really like the trade.
I can't get used to saying Sacramento.
Yeah, I know.
You won't have to for long.
That's just weird.
But, I mean, I really like the trade that the A's made with the Padres, I feel, because I think they got
Leody DeVries.
Yeah, they got
He won't be up
Padres'
for a while, though.
top prospect, and I know he won't be there next year probably, but I really like Nick Kurtz, and I just really like how young they are and how they look this year. I mean, they went 78 and 86. I could see them flipping that next year and going 86 and 78. So
Just got to sign a few starting pitchers.
Yep, that's my pick.
Okay, you want to hear some AL or some AI?
Sure.
Let me give shout out to one player, Luinder Avila, who was a reliever for the Royals late in the year. Has a nasty slider and fastball. He is really good. All of his advanced metrics look good. I'm hoping that the Royals can clear up a few spots in their bullpen to give him more opportunities and be on the opening day roster, because I think he can be one of the best relievers.
Game changer.
I was talking with someone, and we were talking about how we could see him as a closer for the Royals in the next
down the road,
4 or 5 years.
Probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, kind of that Mariano Rivera type closer with that slider. No,
Rivera was known for his cutter.
Yeah.
or cutter. That's right.
He was a pitch to contact guy. Saw him off inside.
Yeah. Okay. AI. Teams primed to take a step forward. Who do you think number 1 is?
Probably the A's.
Nope. They're actually number 4.
Philadelphia Phillies.
Nope.
Are they going to stay the
bird.
Braves? Cardinals?
Nope.
Orioles?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't see it. They don't have the pitching. Mike
yeah.
Ellis is not a great general manager, in my opinion.
Okay. Number 2 comes from the NL East.
Braves.
Marlins.
No, Braves.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I can see the Marlins taking a step forward.
You know, now that I look at this, they might have just done one from every division. Well, not every division, but I don't know. AL West. A's, we said. No, A's, we said. Players. We actually got a Cardinal on here. Shortstop / second baseman.
Mason Wynn,
Nope.
Nolan Gorman,
Nope.
Brendan Donovan.
Nope. J.J. Weatherholt.
He's like as a surprise player.
Should be hopeful.
Yeah,
Fans
I mean,
should be
yeah,
hopeful.
they should definitely be hopeful for Weatherholt. It's
He's
just
the highest rated infield prospect in
Yeah.
the Cardinal system. Okay. Tigers outfielder.
Riley Green.
No. Max Clark.
Oh, okay.
Said you should be hopeful about that.
They're just doing
Highly
straight
touted former
prospects.
number 3 overall pick.
Yep.
And then Orioles center catcher / first baseman.
Oh, I forget his name, but they already signed him to a contract extension.
Samuel Basallo?
Yeah, something
Like that?
No, they already signed him to a contract extension, which basically
So
says
they're
that
sold on him.
They're gonna get rid of Rutschman,
Yeah.
probably.
Not a bad move. Well, gentlemen, I enjoyed this episode. I learned a lot. And, in this world where AI seems to be taking over, much like my feelings in baseball, taking the human element out of it really changes
Yeah.
the course of it. So, although I love the ability to pull up stats, I literally put the questions. Brayden kind of produced this episode, came up with the questions. I literally copied and pasted his questions into Gemini, and this is what it spit out. So it's cool. A lot of stats that I wasn't aware of, a lot of stuff that I could pull out, but I don't think the thought process there it goes with the conventional human element.
Not critical thinking.
Yeah.
And
But guys, I had a great time. Sam, you have any last words you want to say? I know you're disappointed with the World Series.
Yeah, with the double play, I'm so mad about
Yeah,
that.
season-ending double play that happened. It is what it is. Brayden, you got anything to say?
Nope.
No.
Go Royals.
10 phalanges. You got anything to say?
With
10
your
phalanges. I still got them, so.
You still got
First
them.
one.
So what do you do? Do you go out there and light the wick and have to run?
Actually, we don't anymore because there was a
all
fire in
electronic?
Tennessee.
Oh!
And so can't do pyro anymore. I think they call it Cairo. So it's all the big lights, like
Okay.
you got like an arrow, like 3 arrowheads that get bigger as they come out, and then Chiefs and Kingdom on both sides. So
That's wild. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on episode 1 of Show Me Baseball. We had a great time. Look out for episode 2. It's going to be even more fun.